Stop trying to create content every single day. It is the fastest way to burn out and quit your side hustle before you even make your first dollar. If you are sitting there right now, staring at a blank cursor, stressing because you haven't posted on LinkedIn or Instagram in 3 days, I get it. You are trying to build an income stream, but the marketing feels like a second full-time job. You spend more time thinking about what to post than actually building your business. Here is the reality. The people growing the fastest online aren't working harder than you. They aren't more creative than you. They just have a system. And in the next 14 minutes, I am going to give you that system. I am going to show you exactly how to generate 30 days of high quality content in less than 1 hour. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, great, another video telling me to let ChatGPT write boring, robotic posts that nobody reads. Let me be clear. That is not what we are doing. Generic AI content kills your reputation. Instead, I am going to show you a specific workflow that extracts your expertise and your unique voice and then uses AI to scale it into a month's worth of posts that actually get clients. We are going to use free tools you probably already have, and I will give you the exact prompts that stop the AI from sounding like a machine. By the end of this video, you won't just have a plan. You will have a finished content calendar and the freedom to step away from social media for the next 29 days while your account grows on autopilot. Consistency is the hardest part of this game, but today we are going to solve it forever. Let's build your content engine. Most beginners I talk to treat content creation like a daily emergency. You wake up, grab your coffee, and immediately think, oh no, I have to post something on LinkedIn today. You stare at the screen for 45 minutes, write 3 sentences, delete them, and then finally post something mediocre just to say you did it. Or worse, you post nothing at all, and then you do it again tomorrow and the next day. By Friday, you are exhausted. You are not building a business. You are just feeding an algorithm that never gets full. This is the content treadmill, and it is the number one reason talented people quit their side hustles. You didn't start a business to become a full-time content creator, but that is exactly what it feels like. The problem isn't just that it is stressful, the real problem is that it kills your income. When you create content in a panic, you aren't being strategic, you aren't addressing client objections or showing off your expertise, you are just making noise. And when you inevitably burn out and disappear for 2 weeks, you lose all the momentum you built. Clients want to see consistency because it signals reliability. If your content is sporadic, they assume your service will be too. Now, a lot of people try to fix this by swinging too far the other way. They go to ChatGPT and type, write me 30 LinkedIn posts about graphic design. And what happens? You get 30 generic robotic posts that start with in today's digital landscape, or here are 5 tips for success. That is what I call filler content. It fills the slot, but it empties your authority. People can smell low-effort AI content from a mile away. If you post that, you are telling your potential clients that you don't care enough to add value. It is actually better to post nothing than to post obvious AI garbage that damages your brand. But here is the thing I wish someone told me when I was starting out. You don't need to be a professional writer to fix this. You just need to separate the thinking from the writing. The reason you are stuck is that you are trying to come up with ideas, write the hook, draft the body, and edit the copy all at the same time, every single day. That is inefficient for a human, and it is a waste of AI's potential. The method we are about to use flips this on its head. We are going to do all the thinking at once, which takes about 20 minutes, and then we are going to let the AI handle the heavy lifting of formatting and expanding those thoughts. We aren't asking the AI to be the expert. We are asking it to be the editor and the multiplier. Once you see how this workflow operates, you will realize that spending an hour every morning on content was completely unnecessary. You can get your life back. So, let's stop talking about the problem and start building the solution. Here is exactly how we set this up. So here is the strategy. We call this the context-first batching method. It sounds technical, but it is actually incredibly simple. Most people fail with AI because they treat it like a magic generator. They open ChatGPT and say, make me famous. We are going to treat AI like a very talented, very fast editorial assistant. Think about it this way. If you hired a human assistant and told them, go write something smart about my industry, they would probably write something generic and embarrassing. But if you gave them a messy recording of you ranting about a client problem and said, turn this into a professional email, they would do a perfect job. That is exactly how we are going to use AI today. We aren't asking it to be the expert. You are the expert. We are using AI strictly for structure and formatting. Here is the 4-step workflow we are going to build. Phase 1 is the raw brain dump. This is where we spend 20 minutes getting your actual thoughts out of your head. We aren't trying to write pretty sentences. We are just documenting your experiences, your client wins, and your strong opinions. This is the only part that requires your creative energy. Phase 2 is the transformation. We are going to take that raw, messy data and feed it into a specific prompt structure. This is the key difference. We aren't saying write a post about marketing. We are saying take these specific thoughts I just wrote and reformat them into a hook body conclusion structure. This ensures the content sounds like you because the ideas are yours. Phase 3 is the multiplier effect. We will take one idea and turn it into 3 different posts using angle flipping. And phase 4 is the deployment. This is the step most people miss, where we actually get the content scheduled so you don't have to think about it for a month. You do not need any expensive software for this. I literally use a blank Google Doc and the free version of ChatGPT or Claude. If you have $20 for the premium version, the results are slightly better, but you can absolutely do this for $0. The best part about this approach is that it completely removes the fear of the blank page. You never have to write from scratch again. You just have to talk about what you already know and let the machine handle the grammar and formatting. So, if you have a Google Doc open, let's get into the first step. This is the foundation that makes everything else work. All right, open up a blank Google Doc or a Notion page. This is going to be your workspace. You don't need any fancy AI dashboards or expensive subscription tools for this. Just a blank page and a chat window with ChatGPT or Claude. We are going to execute phase 1, the raw brain dump. Now, I want you to look at the clock. If we were doing this live, I would put 15 minutes on the timer. That is all you need for this step. The biggest mistake people make here is trying to be professional right out of the gate. They sit down and try to type perfect sentences. Do not do that. The AI is the polisher. You are the source material. If you try to polish before you have even generated the idea, you are doing the AI's job for it, and you are wasting your own energy. Here is the trick I use to get 30 days of ideas in 15 minutes. It is called the client interaction audit. If you have done any work at all, even just one project, or even if you are just learning and talking to friends, you have content. I want you to write down 3 headings in your document right now. Heading 1. Questions I get asked repeatedly. Heading 2. Mistakes I see beginners make. Heading 3. Things I learned the hard way. Now, under each heading, I want you to bullet point 3 to 4 messy, unpolished thoughts. And I mean messy. For example, if you are a freelance graphic designer, under mistakes, don't write, "It is crucial to understand the principles of color theory." That is boring. That is textbook fluff. Instead, write, "I hate it when clients ask for the logo to be bigger. It ruins the white space. They don't get that empty space makes the logo pop." See the difference? The second one has emotion. It has an opinion. It comes from real experience. That is the gold that AI cannot invent on its own. If you give the AI the textbook sentence, it will give you a textbook post. If you give it the rant, it will give you a post that actually stops the scroll. Let's try another example. Maybe you are a virtual assistant. Under questions, I get asked, don't write. Clients often ask about my scheduling tools. Write. Clients always think they need a complex project management tool, but really they just need a shared Google Calendar and a clear process. Or maybe you are a video editor. Under things, I learned the hard way, right? I used to spend hours looking for the perfect song before I even started editing. Now I edit the video first and find the music last. It saves me 2 hours per project. If you hate typing, here is a pro tip. Use the voice dictation feature on your phone. Open a note, hit the microphone button, and just pace around your room ranting about your industry for 10 minutes. Pretend you are venting to a friend at a bar. You know what drives me crazy about this industry? Nobody talks about how hard the first month is. Capture that. Once you have about 10 to 12 of these bullet points or messy paragraphs, stop. Do not overthink it. You have enough raw material right there for an entire month of content. Now we move to phase 2, the transformation. This is where the magic happens. We are not going to paste these one by one into ChatGPT. That takes too long. We are going to build what I call a context wrapper. Most people prompt AI like this. Write me a LinkedIn post about logo design. And the AI says, here are 5 tips for logo design. Number 1, keep it simple. It is garbage. It sounds like a robot because you gave it zero context. We are going to use a specific prompt structure that forces the AI to write like a human. I want you to copy this structure down. You don't have to memorize it, just understand the logic. Here is the prompt formula: role plus audience plus the raw input plus the anti robot constraints. Let's break that down. First, the role. Tell the AI who it is. You are an expert ghostwriter for a graphic design business owner. Second, the audience. You are writing for small business owners who don't understand design, not for other designers. This is critical. If you don't specify the audience, the AI will default to generic advice that appeals to nobody. Third, the raw input. This is where you paste your messy bullet points from phase 1. And fourth, the anti robot constraints. This is the most important part. You need to tell the AI what not to do, because otherwise it will sound like a corporate press release. So, here is the exact prompt I want you to use. You can literally pause this video and type this out. I am going to give you a raw thought. I want you to turn it into a social media post. My tone is conversational, direct, and helpful. Do not use hashtags, emojis, or words like delve, unlock, landscape, or game changer. Use short sentences. Write like a human speaking to a friend. Here is the raw thought. Paste your messy bullet point here. When you run this prompt, you will see something amazing happen. Because you gave it a specific opinion, remember the make the logo bigger rant, and you gave it strict constraints on tone, the output will actually sound like you. It won't sound like a generic Wikipedia article, it will sound like an expert sharing a specific insight. But we aren't done. We promised 30 days of content, and right now, you only have 10 or 12 bullet points. This brings us to phase 3, the multiplier effect. This is where you save hours of work. We are going to take those single ideas and turn them into multiple pieces of content using angle flipping. For every single core idea you have, there are at least 3 ways to talk about it. Let's go back to the logo example. You have your rant about clients wanting the logo bigger. Angle 1 is the story. Prompt the AI. Rewrite this as a story about a specific time a client asked for this and how I handled it. Now you have a personal anecdote. That is post number 1. Angle 2 is the actionable list. Prompt the AI. Rewrite this as 3 steps a client should take before reviewing a design. Now you have an educational carousel or a text list post. That is post number 2. Angle 3 is the contrarian take. Prompt the AI. Rewrite this as a strong, controversial opinion statement about why white space is more important than the logo itself. Now you have a thought leadership post designed to get comments. That is post number 3. Do you see what just happened? One messy bullet point just became 3 distinct pieces of content. If you have 10 bullet points from your brain dump and you run each one through these 3 angles, you just created 30 posts. And the best part? They are all congruent. They all reinforce your expertise, but they don't feel repetitive because the format and the angle are different each time. Now let's talk about the workflow to actually get this done in the remaining time. You are going to open a new chat for each angle. Chat 1 is your storyteller bot. You paste your raw ideas in there and say, turn these into stories. Chat 2 is your teacher bot. You paste the same ideas and say, turn these into step-by-step lists. Chat 3 is your debater bot. You paste them and say, turn these into strong opinions. By batching it this way, the AI stays in character. You don't have to keep reminding it who to be. You just feed the machine. You copy the results from ChatGPT and paste them back into your Google Doc. Do not judge them yet. Just copy, paste, copy, paste. Your goal is to get the volume on the page. At this point, you might be looking at your document and thinking, okay, I have 3,000 words of text here, but some of it still sounds a little stiff. That brings us to the final step, and this is the step that separates the amateurs from the pros. It is the 10% human polish. Please, do not skip this. If you copy-paste directly from ChatGPT to LinkedIn, you will get caught. People are getting very good at spotting AI content. But the secret is, you don't need to rewrite the whole thing. You just need to inject humanity into the first and last sentence. Here is the rule. AI is great at the middle, but it is terrible at the hook and the close. Scan your Google Doc. Look at the first sentence of a post. Does it say, in the world of graphic design, white space is important? That is boring. Delete it. Change it to, I lost a $500 client yesterday because I refused to make the logo bigger. See the difference? The AI gave you the structure and the arguments, but you gave it the punch. Then look at the end. Does it say, in conclusion, remember to value white space? Delete it. Change it to, stop crowding your designs. Let them breathe. You are just sanding down the rough edges. You are looking for those dead giveaway words, words like moreover, furthermore, tapestry, symphony. If you see those, cut them immediately. Replace them with normal words like also, and, or mix. This polishing phase should take you about 15 minutes for the whole batch. You aren't rewriting, you are editing, and editing is 10 times faster than writing from scratch. So let's recap the math here. 15 minutes for the raw brain dump, 25 minutes for the prompting and angle flipping, 20 minutes for the human polish, that is 1 hour, and at the end of that hour, you have 30 pieces of content that are actually based on your brain, not a robot's database. But wait, we are missing one critical piece. You have the content, but if it sits in your Google Doc, it does nothing for your bank account. You need to get it out there. This brings us to phase 4, the set and forget schedule. This is where most beginners fail. They write the content, feel good about themselves, and then forget to post it, or they try to post manually every morning and eventually miss a day, then 2, then quit. We are going to solve that right now. You need a scheduling tool. You can use the free version of Buffer or the native scheduling tool inside LinkedIn or Facebook. It doesn't matter which one you use as long as you use one. Here is the workflow. You take your polished Google Doc, you open your scheduler, and you spend 30 minutes loading up the next 2 weeks of posts. Why only 2 weeks? Because 30 days can feel overwhelming to schedule all at once. Start with 2 weeks. That is 14 posts. If you do this on a Sunday afternoon, you are completely free for the next 14 days. You don't have to wake up and think about content. You don't have to stress about the algorithm. You just wake up, check your notifications, and reply to comments. This is how you build a professional presence while working a full-time job. You batch the creation, and you batch the scheduling. The only thing you do daily is engage. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds great, but I don't have any clients yet. I don't have war stories to tell. That is a valid fear, but it is a mental block, not a reality. You don't need paid clients to have experience. If you are learning to code, your client is the code that won't run. Write about the bug you spent 3 hours fixing. That shows persistence. If you are learning to write copy, your client is the bad ad you saw on Facebook. Write about how you would fix it. That shows expertise. If you are an aspiring virtual assistant, write about how you organized your family's budget or vacation. That shows organizational skills. Everything is content. The course you are taking, the book you are reading, the mistake you made in your practice project. That is all raw material. In fact, documenting your learning journey is often more powerful than pretending to be a guru because it makes you relatable. People love to root for the underdog who is figuring it out in public. So, no excuses. You have the raw material, you have the prompt structure, you have the scheduling plan, but I want to be real with you for a second. The system works, but only if you actually use it. It is very easy to watch a tutorial like this, feel productive because you learned something new, and then close the tab and go back to your day without writing a single word. That is the trap. So here is exactly what I want you to do right now. Don't click to the next video yet. Open a blank Google Doc or grab a notebook. Write down those 3 headings I gave you: questions I get asked, mistakes beginners make, and lessons I learned the hard way. Then, set a timer for just 15 minutes and do the brain dump. Don't worry about the prompts, the angle flipping, or the polishing yet. Just get the raw ideas out of your head. If you do that one thing today, you have done the hardest part. You have broken the paralysis. Imagine waking up next Monday and not having that pit in your stomach about what to post. Imagine having your entire month scheduled out so you can focus on actually doing the work you love and serving your clients. That freedom is available to you, but you have to build the asset first. Consistency is the difference between a side hobby and a real business. You now have the engine to be consistent. You just have to turn the key. If this video was helpful to you, if you appreciate content that skips the hype and gives you actual, executable strategies, please consider subscribing. We are building this channel to help you create real income with AI, and there is a lot more coming. Stop overthinking, open the document, start the timer. You've got this. I will see you in the next one.